week I'm learning the podcast where the topics come first and the hosts come last. We're just nice like that. This is Season 2, Episode 6, overall Episode 36, and as a multiple of 12, it's a drinking show. Thank goodness, because
somewhere in there.
We're going to need it after some of the topics today. Yeah, I'm your host, Brandon Vader. Drinking some Vader wine tonight. More from my dad. Thankfully, I think I still have a couple bottles left.
So everybody is going to think that that's wine that the Vader family made, but that's actually wine made out of the Vader family.
What?
There's a lot of Vader families.
No. We're not vampires.
1 minute,
We are
15
not
seconds
vampires.
until
There-
it got fucking weird.
There were a
Thanks,
lot of
Cody.
Vaders.
Yeah, nope.
Oh my.
Nope.
Oh dear.
Oh, jeez.
So, oh geez, oh dear.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Brendan Vader, also known as Dracanis, down below me. Cody Stratman, also known as Psychonitrous. What are you drinking this week?
I am drinking vodka, triple sec, something else. Oh, and juice.
Apparently, it's powerful.
It's a decent amount of vodka. What is it? The Dole pineapple, banana, orange juice.
Yes.
Pineapple banana?
Good. Oh, it's very
Oh, yeah.
Sounds good.
Yep.
It's very good.
Actually, yeah, I drink the shit out of that. Who am I kidding?
That sounds good.
I could just use some coconut. I should have got some coconut rum too, but
Failure.
No need for coconut. Down next to him is Seeker4761. The amount of shots that have gone around tonight?
Oh,
boy.
just the beginning,
the
boys.
end.
Woo!
I think
By the end.
So, what are you
Also
drinking?
known as Colton Roper. What are you drinking?
Just a classic, what do you call it? Jack and Pepsi? I was hoping for Jack and
Jack
Dr.
and
Pepper, but I only had a Pepsi, so it's a bit sweeter than the average Jack and Coke.
Okay.
Okay. Next to me, Charlie Stifler, also known as Mueller. What are you drinking?
I am drinking what's called a Georgia Peach, which is vodka, specifically orange vodka, peach schnapps, and Sprite. It is fantastic. It's peach rings without the sour. It's fantastic.
Ooh. Looks like water.
Interesting.
That's good to know.
It is
Yeah.
dangerously like water,
I was gonna say, just go to the gym and put that in a sports bottle and
right?
run your day away.
Ooh,
Just don't smell it.
ruin your day.
Just sweat it right out your pores.
Nothing like
collect-
smelling like
collect the
an alcoholic early in the
oozings.
morning.
Yeah, collect the oozings, put it in a jar, and resell it. Essence of Mjolnir.
tell you
Oh,
what.
God, no.
That's
Just
a drink.
no.
That's
Thank you.
that's drinking.
We are not game stream girls that sell bathwater. We don't need to do that.
You know,
Oh.
I've
So-
always said if there is a market for that for TWIL, I'd say we do it. Who gives a shit? We don't have to drink it.
The
If our
FDA
fans,
the
it's called
FDA
giving
gives
the
a shit.
fans what you want. It's called giving the fans what they want.
Basically, the
No.
only people watching this right now are our family, Colton.
Well, you
Yeah.
know what? I am
We are all disappointments right now. I just want you to
totally. But again, if they want, Mom, if you, I'm just kidding. Don't say that.
know.
Off the rails already.
And
We're
we
gonna-
just lost yet another fan.
Time
Sorry,
of
Mom.
death,
Yeah.
4 minutes, 5 seconds.
We had a good run.
All right. Yep. All right. To get back on topic, back on task, Cody is going to be telling us about tracing together now with police. I'm assuming it's not chalk outlines, or I hope it's not chalk outlines.
No one has
That would
ever
be
found
fun.
this position, by the way. No one, ever.
Running Man.
Well, Colton is going to tell us that some moments in time are truly iconic, such as bloomers on a clothesline, because apparently it has to be in like 1870 to be bloomers, because that's the only
You're
time.
not
that
100% wrong. You're not 100% wrong.
All right, I'll take it.
Boom. And Charlie, Jesus,
Chari,
holy
Chari,
crap.
Chari.
It's
apparently
powerful,
that's
Jack.
A strong Jack and Pepsi.
There's no Pepsi in this, by the way. Charlie's going to tell us about how there is a noticeable weight class missing in history Because teenagers are assholes. That's a hot take.
Truth.
I never would have thought that.
I mean,
I've always
don't
thought
really
teenagers to
disagree
be
with that.
super
And
nice.
I almost feel ashamed for having to read this. Brandon is going to tell us about nightmare fuel dumped over photos. What could possibly go wrong?
Oh yeah.
And
I don't
there's
wanna click on
there's
that
links.
link.
There's links for us to click, and I don't want to click.
I feel like I need to make sure
I
my
don't
vast
consent.
security service is like turned up to 100 right
Right?
now.
No.
VPN
It's
to maximum
legit.
strength.
It's legit.
Shields up,
It's on Twitter, which means it could be anything goes.
right?
Not
It's
only
probably
fans.
fucking something
like-
Trump related. It's fine.
Yeah, if it was like
No
Facebook or
politics.
like Instagram or something, it might there would be something, a threshold, but we'll see.
All right,
Well, I'm excited.
Cody, tell us why contact tracing is going to hell.
It's not going to hell. It's going to Singapore, which is hot as hell. So yes, it's going to hell.
Singapore ain't got shit. That ain't hot.
So
That's
We ain't found shit.
combing the desert.
Pinky for fanciness. Anyways.
But enough about Tuvok. Continue.
Back at the very beginning times of this podcast, I talked about contact tracing and like what apps might look like, and it's been interesting what has happened, and a lot of it has been, oh no, we definitely do need your geolocation data, from a lot of the governments around the world. And certain governments have been like, we are definitely only going to use this for COVID contact tracing and nothing else, and then hand that data over to the police. So, this is... Now, granted, there's... Right now, it's just one case that I know of in Singapore where they did that after saying, nope, we definitely won't do this. And then they did it. And now they're going, well, in the case of serious crimes. Now, granted, this is the country where if you have drugs on you when you enter Singapore, they say it in big signs at the airport, you can be put to death. So take of that what you will.
A notoriously open country.
I mean,
Right.
granted, there is not a piece of trash anywhere in Singapore. Like, you cannot
'Cause
find
all
it.
the
Except,
litterers are put to
except
death.
for in the trash cans.
Yeah, it could be a scavenger hunt. But yeah,
Can't
this
confirm.
this trace together app, this is being problematic. They're not the only ones kind of playing odd with it. Thailand actually, at one point, they said, so they didn't say that they were giving the data over to the police or anything like that, but they did say that if you were caught positive with COVID and then did not have the app, that you would be arrested. So they have since backed off on that because they got
Like,
a
wow,
bunch of
that-
backlash. So
Obviously. Jesus.
yeah,
Yeah.
at least they backed off on that, so I'll give them props for that. Whereas Singapore is now trying to make this a new statute that they can give police the data for serious crimes. Not really an app, but there was a database in Canada that was used by the police, and I think it was like over 96,000 searches on it were used. So, like, here's what makes the Singapore issue even worse, is now they're saying if you want to go to public facilities, you have to have the app. So basically, if you want to use public facilities, you will share this data with the police. And my background agrees that this seems to be problematic.
It needs a minute.
Yep. This is not how
the
you
boiler snake
encourage
in level 1
people
text.
to use your app. Like, this is, if you want... yeah.
I would say that's pretty good encouragement.
Oh, it's nighttime
I mean,
now.
it's not positive encouragement, but it's encouragement nonetheless. I'm just trying to be a devil's
He's trying
advocate
to be
about this.
positive. He's trying to be positive
I'm trying.
without being, positive.
There was an interesting article that I read that was talking about this and saying that this is actually potentially a worse issue than just Singapore, because the fact of Singapore being the most first world country doing this is going to encourage other countries like US, Australia to start doing this as well. So this is more... Charlie, you want to say something? I see it in your eyes, in the whites of your eyes as you're
Opening that
looking
can
at
The
of
it.
way you said that Singapore is the most first world country to do this, I do not think of Singapore as a first world country in the classic sense that it is not a westernized, freedoms first country. This is a completely society first country that, if push came to shove, the shove would come back from the military. Like it's not Myanmar. It's not Burma, but it's close. It's in the region, and the fact
You
that
certainly
it's
can't
a
call
place
it a
that,
developing country.
Yeah.
well, yeah,
Would be
but
the next
And
tier.
now, granted, yeah,
okay,
their terms first.
to define terms, first world is Western democracies. Second world is communism. Is third world is everything else that's not one of those two things. We use the term third world to describe
Yeah, we
very
do.
undeveloped countries, but is not nomenclature.
Okay,
Technically, at the time of the Cold War, Switzerland would have been considered a third world country because it didn't take a fucking side.
Yes. Okay, you're right. I was using that to make a point.
Yeah.
Again, Singapore is the
It
cleanest.
is a highly developed country.
Yes, extremely high developed country. Like if you look at like GDP, if you look at a lot of like health, life expectancy, those
financial
metrics,
center of the world.
Singapore is constantly in the top 5 of those, beating out US, beating out a lot of other countries that you would think of as prime examples of society at its finest.
I am not going to disagree with the fact that this doesn't, on the surface, seem like a good idea. However, I can draw in a distinct parallel to what I foresee as the future of the NHL, the NBA, the NFL, that only people who have been vaccinated will be permitted in the stadium, whether as employees, because that's happening now, or as spectators. And
I mean,
that functionally is the same thing. The only difference is my vaccination card is not being used to persecute those I associate with.
Yeah, so the vaccination records open? Like, A, can they track you in real time?
No.
B, are they searchable by police?
Yes.
Okay. So, issue...
Because they're open public record.
Okay, fair enough.
It falls under a public health
same with
order.
going to school. You have to have your
Right.
vaccinations. You can look it
Okay.
up.
Technically, it's health information, but because it's CDC and it's a public health order, it's searchable. Because I have to be able to say, hey, I got vaccinated, and someone has to be able to say, no, you didn't. That's a forgery.
That's a damn dirty
Fair,
lie.
I don't disagree with what you're saying regarding vaccinated individuals because it specifically hampers spread of the virus. I do, however, have an issue with requiring an app that then is tied to tracking your position at all times and that being given to authorities.
What is the information that is given to authorities used for the purpose of? Is it to hunt down anti-government sentiment? Is it to hunt down protesters? What is it?
I mean, if it's for contact tracing,
So
that's what it's for.
it is for, quote, serious crimes.
If I had an app that was always on and and I was required to have my phone on me, I could end almost all crime in the United States. But the amount of effort to go through all the metadata to say, oh, well, at time of death was 11:59, and 11:59, the only people that were within 100 yards of this person was
So
Charlie Manson.
Your argument is
I'm not saying
that
it's a good
you're
argument. I'm not
hiding
saying
in
that's what I
plain
want to live
sight
in, but
because there's too many people yelling. The problem is
Right.
that technology is getting better. So this is the argument like against facial recognition that a lot of black people are using because they're saying facial recognition misidentifies them, which is accurate. The problem is that technology will get better and we will have facial recognition that will be able to accurately get anybody. This, I still see it.
The
I
issue
still
with
see
like that
facial-
type of thing is when will data like that be admissible in a court? At least in the United States, if we're going that, there would have to be some sort of legal precedent that said the facial recognition data is the said person, and that is the defining piece of evidence that will prosecute a certain person. That is when there will be a dystopia, if you ask me. Right now, it's kind of like a polygraph. It's not really admissible. It's
We're getting
theoretically
there.
can be sort of used.
well,
but it's
polygraph
not admissible.
is a wholly separate topic.
Yeah,
that
and
we can go on.
there's whole,
It's
but it's still the
it's
idea
never
of
going to
using
be court
a
admissible again.
right. But
Considering
the
you can
idea
be
is
fined
using
based off of recognition data. Like we're like a little bit of
We're
a step
creeping
away from that. And I want to stop those steps.
So I have a question for you then, Cody.
Okay.
Why are you moving towards a place that you would not have a democratic way of going against that?
Because
if the king decided that that's the way it's going to be, boom, it's done.
Okay. So forgive me in my smirk.
No, I get it.
The king
the
doesn't
king is
really
not
set
involved in legislation. Yeah,
okay.
I know that. I was being hyperbolic.
Okay. What I weigh is the average everyday life instances of things that I deal with on a day-to-day basis. And my life there feels more like living and less like existing.
Fair.
Does it
But-
do other things bug me? Sure. But on a scale, now if it was the same and I had the same situation with things that I despise, like insurance companies, like cover your ass legislation, there that I do here, then yeah, I would reevaluate my situation.
Yeah.
But as of right now, when you have the attitude of society, you have like the whole CYA, you have the medical system, you have the ability to get on a plane and go to another country when things open up and it's not the new normal for like, $40, then yeah, all things being equal, I would probably switch again and figure out where I'm going to go.
Okay.
But anyway,
So privacy's not that important as long as everything else is good.
it's a weight. It's not a 100% or nothing. What I'm
Right.
saying
It's
is
not a zero-sum thing.
yeah, that it has a Okay, I have to be careful before saying it has a
No place
quantitative
is
value
perfect.
because then you're going to ask me to specifically quantify it, which, well,
I'm thinking loud. I'm sorry. Filters are off.
No, I mean, it's little steps towards dystopia that, and again, you say that, or not you, sorry, I don't mean to put words in your mouth. People
fine.
say, like, the government's good, like, it shouldn't matter until you get somebody in power that isn't. That data doesn't just disappear.
Yeah.
You are not forgotten. The things that you do that produce data, that data is retained forever. So
Well,
if you
not
do
forever, until the system crashes and
until there's a
updates and
high
all that
altitude
stuff.
nuclear explosion. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're like if one of your children does something stupid online, that data doesn't just go away. That follows them forever. Your stupid things that you did in college are now searchable by employers. Like, are you the same person that you were then? Should you be judged based off of that? Should you be judged anyway based off of something like a random thing somewhere without the person knowing more nuance of your character?
Ooh, so now we're moving into cancel culture, are we? Just a little bit.
I'm going to call it consequence culture, but that's different.
If they truly know you, okay. My spiel is
that's
starting to take over the whole thing.
That would be an excellent, like, multiple of 5
Rant for another day.
Rant, or that'd be a good one. In fact, I think we've already added that, but I'm gonna make sure it's there.
Anyway, I agree with contract tracing apps. I think that the idea behind them is good. I take issue again with especially what happened with Singapore with the we won't, we did, okay, we're gonna just add to that now. That is my true issue. Again, Thailand kind of went a step and then backed off. So anyway, that's my final responses.
It's complicated because, I mean, if you
There's
want,
the info.
and going back to Charlie's original thing, I mean, not really with crime, but if you want to go with perfect contact tracing, having 100% tracking at all times is probably the best way to do it.
But you can do it with Bluetooth. You can do it with Bluetooth handshakes. Because they know, you've been within this person within 15 minutes. Like, you could argue that...
And arguably,
But that's still...
Bluetooth would be a better way because it is a much shorter length. The connection distance is a much shorter
Assuming GPS
length.
is perfect at all times, because not everyone has a perfect phone. Assuming there's a lot of other
coverage
factors.
areas and all that stuff.
Also,
I mean,
on one of my...
goes, again, with Bluetooth, and Bluetooth also has issues right around 30 feet. So you have also, which, I mean, is more than the 6 feet. There's probably there's a way to deal with this contact tracing issue, which obviously is in the United States, we're so far past that we don't even consider that options anymore at this point. Hence the reason pandemic. But the reason it got that bad is because there was no, at least in my opinion, there was no central force.
Yeah.
Essentially making people do it. It was going off of people's goodwill, and as we've seen, 520,000 deaths later, goodwill of people is not really that powerful, unfortunately.
And
I
it still
think
somehow
cultures.
doesn't concern half the population.
I still think it was mixed messages was the main issue.
But same thing.
You
Central,
have
a
the-
central power.
I don't think it was these people are good, these people are bad. I think it was we're getting to a political divisiveness thing now where one group of people were led in this direction which was contrary to the other direction.
That may have been based in scientific fact. Whatever. It's fine.
The problem
Moving
is,
on.
again,
I'm
you're
just
going-
trying to
you're
make
just-
you smile
We're just
at this
saying
point.
you're the
I'm trying to
idea
make
of-
you smile with rage. Am I working? Is it working?
I'm just
It's
you're
again,
trying
it's
to make
simple
my
goodwill.
segment last a lot longer. That's what you're doing.
Eh, rants are fun. You know what? Take a drink, everyone.
They are. Yes. Agreed.
Salud.
Salute.
Slancha.
All right, Colton,
Yeah.
tell us about some moments in time that are truly iconic, such as bloomers on a clothesline. And does it have anything to do with the photo lab behind you?
It kind of does. Not
that's
this
not a
particular
submarine.
style of photo lab, but a photo lab nonetheless. Have you guys ever heard of a daguerreotype?
Yes.
No.
You may not have heard of it, but you've definitely seen pictures of this type of thing. If you've seen a picture from like 1820 to 1900, that's a daguerreotype picture. That's how pictures were done. In fact, it was actually the first publicly available photographic process was daguerreotype. Essentially, to make an image, a daguerreotypist, which is a fancy word for a photographer, they polish a sheet of silver-plated copper to like a mirror-like quality. Then they treat it with special fumes to make the surface light sensitive. They then expose it. Then they treat it with mercury fumes to get that particular image to set. Then they remove its sensitivity to the light with a different fume treatment. Then they rinse it. Then they dry it. And then they place the image behind a glass with a protective enclosure. And that's pretty much the process. It's like a day-long process, honestly. But it was still the first photo process that was available to the general public.
And then those people went insane.
Yep,
You would
and
think.
only a couple of them died
Mercury
of,
fumes.
Yeah, I mean,
poisonings.
mercury, we're all snowflakes in today's culture. Mercury ain't that bad. It's terrible. Basically, it's a far cry from today's point-and-click DSLR and cell phone cameras. Obviously, way easier. So based on that process, an incredible amount of skill, patience, intuition, and with the mercury fumes, a little bit of luck, was needed to be a good daguerreotypist. When I was searching for Google for images of daguerreotypes, the photos of that time, I actually found that the photos were incredibly sharp. Like, the resolution of the photos is way sharper than I really thought in my head. And by the way, I started this from a Pinterest post, of all places, and it fell down a rabbit hole, so shout out to Pinterest. I love Pinterest. So yeah, I never realized it before. Like, I guess I always thought that the older pictures were blurry and kind of crappy, but it turns out it was actually, most of the time, the photos that are available, at least the famous ones, were they kind of lost their quality based on exposure to the elements of the actual daguerreotype or just the age of the silver, copper silver thing, whatever. But in my searching, I actually found a photograph that I remembered all the way back from my grade school days in the history books. Have you guys ever heard of the Cincinnati panorama photo?
Yeah. It's either like 5 or 6 panes, and it's not very well. It's not crisply put together like we're used to with a panorama.
Yeah, it's very like patchwork because the actual panes themselves are kind of small, but it's an incredibly iconic photograph. And when I remember reading about it in a history book, and I didn't fully understand why we were learning about like Civil War, stuff like that, and then all of a sudden this picture is kind of in that same time period. What I'd like you guys to do is actually click on that link in the show notes real quick while I talk about it. So on September 24th, 1848, Charles Fontaine and William Porter created the iconic photo by taking 8 6.5 by 8.5 inch daguerreotype plates. And I want you guys specifically in that link to look at the juxtaposition photos of the daguerreotypes compared to a modern camera. So the one with the slider. The one taken in 1848 and the one taken in, I think it was 2018, if the one I'm seeing.
Oh, wow.
That
So,
quality is impressive.
That blew my damn mind. Because honestly, you think of a modern camera. I mean, granted, the photo on the right wasn't taken with a digital camera. It was actually taken with a film camera, but it's still from this century. It's still a high quality camera. The other thing about the Cincinnati, both of these photos, is that the photo was actually taken from about 2 miles away. So they're both, like the one on the right, and the one on the left, the daguerreotype is just using the process of exposure. The one on the right, the modern photo, is using kind of some sort of modern zoom technique as well. Optics and everything to try to get a clearer picture. So I guess I have a question for you guys. How many megapixels, looking at any of the 1848 photos, how many megapixels do you think the entire panorama has? And remember, these aren't terribly big, I guess, plates. They're only 6.5 by 8.5, so just multiply that by 8 and think. So it's only going to be not terribly big, honestly. Maybe 5 feet. I think it's like 170 inches altogether once it's all put together. So how many megapixels is the entire photo?
I
Just
would
a
go
rough
with
estimate.
50 megapixels.
Okay. What do you think?
108.
108? Okay. And this is the old photo.
The old photo? Because it's analog, it's actually going to be a super high number. So I'm going to guess 512 or something.
You guys are way, way short by multiple
Oh, wow.
factors. In
Okay.
fact, using some fancy resolution math, they actually found that the Cincinnati panorama is actually 140,000 megapixels.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me because
the different techniques it makes sense. There's not any real processing going on here. That is what you saw. But it's kind of interesting to think about a technology that's 170 years old can get photos that are on par with like what NASA can do on stuff like that. So the resolution is. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, this gets into an argument of digital versus analog, though. When you really get into it, it's
Right.
not necessarily. So, I mean, when you get into the audio industry, it's why people actually have a really good point when they say it sounds better on a record, because technically it's infinite bandwidth on the.
There's no real
grooves.
processing going on. It's
Yeah,
just
you're not
what it is.
limited. It is what
Now,
it is now.
I mean,
That's
you
susceptible
guys are
to
not wrong.
noise.
I completely agree with you, but the Cincinnati 2018 photo is still analog. It's just
Yeah,
Using a different
mass
technique.
manufactured.
no,
Analog.
I'm not. I'm saying that when you compare it. So wait, did you say that there was a megapixel rate of the 2018 photo?
Unfortunately, I could not find one. It's probably like in the hundreds, honestly,
Yeah,
because that's kind of what, and that's even. I mean, it's from the last 30 years. I think the camera was from my research, so it could be in the hundreds. It could be maybe 200 something, and even that might be a high estimate.
it'd be interesting to see modern. In a way, modern people use this same process to create photos. Just as kind of an interesting experiment, as an art piece, not as a like, hey, let's do this every time we want to take a picture, but
Yeah,
just
that selfie duck face is going to take a little while and cause you cancer.
okay, maybe
Not cancer. Just
yeah,
heavy
yeah. I
metal
guess you would.
poisoning. It's
Yeah,
okay.
true. You'd have to deal with the mercury and stuff, so I guess you would have to use
Yeah,
a
it's
hazmat
not.
suit.
It's in terms of safety. The modern technique obviously blows the other one out of the water. But some couple of interesting facts about the Cincinnati panorama. If you zoom in up to 30 times using a 30 times zoom with like because they were able to convert it to digital using some fancy microscope, and really cool how they did it. Basically, you can zoom up to 30 times before you have any noticeable drop in image fidelity. And in fact, you can actually go out to roughly about 100 times zoom, and you can still make out like incredibly tiny details. So, like, one thing they were able to find, can you guys, and you probably can't because you're not looking at the whole thing, but do you guys think, just looking at it in its current state, that you could figure out what time of day it is?
Yes, I could, but I don't know how to do the math because I would have to know
Yeah, based off the
direction
shadows
of
and angle.
yeah, direction of the perspective, reflection on the water, angle of the camera relative to the water. But I'm sure the math exists to do it.
See, that's a very smart answer. Why not just look at a clock? So there's actually a church tower clock that's roughly about 10 miles away.
Son of a bitch!
I could not find it, unfortunately.
Oh,
But
I see
apparently
it.
they were able to zoom in, and they were able to find out it's about 1:55 p.m. when this particular.
So
picture was
if you
At
look
least
at
that
the
particular-
smokestack of the riverboat and follow that straight up to the horizon, the first little notch to the right of that is the clock
Yeah, that's
tower.
actually, that might be it. But I mean, we can't see it in a current state. But
Yeah, fuck
they was
no.
able to zoom in 100 times, and there's actually, if you go down, I think there's actually a photo of the zoomed in. You can kind of see it's not super clear, but that's 10 miles away in 170 years. Like, it's roughly about halfway down the the page. You can kind of see the actual clock tower. So you can kind of see it. It's not super clear,
insane.
but that's 155 if I've ever seen it.
That's nuttier than squirrel turds.
Oh, you know it. So, after all that, and I did find at one point, actually, you know what? The very last picture, or second to last picture, if you go down, you'll see a couple of white dress pants looking like things.
Yeah.
And
Bloomers.
though there is a poor woman in history from 1848 whose underwear is just on a clothesline for everyone to see for all of posterity, excuse me.
And she
So,
will never live it down.
There's just...
But
If anyone needs a couple minutes, we can stop the podcast for now. Looking at them
Yeah.
bloomers.
I'm good.
But
I'm good.
so I said just a little bit of history, and again, just a Pinterest, like, hey, that's kind of a cool photograph thing. Oh wow, these photos are all super cool. Hey, I know this photo. Oh, turns out there's history behind this freaking photo from 170 years ago, and like quality is noticeably better. So that's what I learned this week.
Impressive. That's cool.
That is
Cool
very
shit.
impressive.
Cool shit. I'm taking another drink for that.
Very nice. Salud.
All right, take another one. Smooth.
Peer pressure.
Smooth. Charlie, why are teenagers assholes?
Teenagers are assholes. So there is 2 noticeable weight classes missing from the fossil record. 2. And for 2 very different reasons. Does anyone want to guess the weight class that is missing from carnivorous dinosaurs? And try not to abuse ARC too much to figure it out.
Ah, shit, you're right. Look on the wiki. Give me a sec. Is it a dragon? A drake?
No,
sorry.
no.
Damn,
It's a weight class.
Medium?
Griffin.
Medium?
Yeah, medium. What is the weight of a medium dinosaur?
For a carnivore?
200 pounds?
Someone read an article very similar to mine, I think.
It's a good guess if you're just totally
So
bullshitting
it is 100 kilograms to 1,000 kilograms. So 220 pounds, asshole, to about 2,200 pounds.
You ruined his bit.
Yeah.
You ruined his fucking bit.
So, for some reason,
Smooth.
paleontologists were not ever able to find, or at least so far, a fossil belonging to a medium, what would be considered a medium-sized dinosaur at full-grown adult size, in the 65.5 million year all the way back to the 201 million year time frame. So that's Cretaceous and Jurassic. There is
Really?
a, quote, rare to non-existent weight class. So 100 kilograms to 1,000 kilograms, they cannot detect a carnivorous dinosaur that their full-grown weight is 100 to 1,000 pounds.
So they've gotten herbivores, just not.
They've got
carnivores.
herbivores. They just don't
Okay.
have carnivores. And
Were
what it
there?
really comes down to is teenagers are assholes. So
No.
the greater than 1,000 kilogram weight class, your gigantic animals, are megatheropods. So can anyone name a megatheropod?
T-Rex.
Therizino?
T-Rex.
Therizino isn't a carnivore.
I know.
Therizino is a herbivore. Allosaurus, Gorgiosaurus, all of those are plus 1,000 kilos. So when their offspring are in adolescence in that 100 to 1,000 kilo range, they actually behave and eat different food than their larger kin. So they're actually eating what would have been the food supply for all of those medium carnivores. So teenagers are assholes,
makes sense.
and Tyrannosaurus rex was such a dominant species that they actually made the middle weight class disappear in the carnivore realm.
Huh.
The other weight class that is missing from the fossil record for a very different reason is the tiny weight class. And tiny is defined as less than 500 grams. So when we're thinking about 500 grams or less, we're talking about birds.
Yeah, like drones.
And as you guys know, that birds are the current living ancestors or descendants of dinosaurs. So,
mutated
where the
chicken a little bit.
fuck
and
did the
see-
birds go?
Where the fuck the
Well,
birds at, bro?
Oh, fuck.
There are footprints that we found in South Korea, fossilized footprints that suggest that there were dinosaurs in the 35 to 100 gram range, but we have never found a skeleton. And here's why. The two major factors for developing a fossil is rapid sediment deposit on top of a skeleton and not being ripped to shreds by a predator.
Mm.
So anything that is a scavenger would have torn these little things asunder, and the rapid process required to create sediment on top of, if it's not convenient, just doesn't happen. So, and also, there's a big difference between a Tyrannosaurus Rex femur sticking out of a cliff and a 35 gram hummingbird descendant or, ancestor that is sitting on the ground. They're very hard to detect. So, completely different reasons of why, but we don't have anything sub 250 grams. So microraptors are the smallest things that we've got fossils of. Everything else is just footprints.
Anybody who's
Yeah,
played Ark has known
Kill
my
them.
sentiment about microraptors.
Yep. So, all right, history lesson time. I'm going to give you a date range, and you're going to give me the name, and you only have two options, so 50-50 guess. 65.5 million years ago to 145, and then 145 to 201. Which one is Jurassic? Which one is Cretaceous?
Cretaceous
First
is
one's
the closer
Cretaceous, next one's Jurassic.
Yep.
Cretaceous is the closer one. Colton is correct. And interestingly enough, Tyrannosaurus Rex did not live during the Jurassic period.
Yeah, it's Cretaceous.
Yeah. So this was a lie.
I mean,
This was-
Damn
there
you,
were
Spielberg.
some dinosaurs
Spielberg.
Most of it was a
from
lie.
Jurassic. They just, the T-Rex was not really the star of the show. It
Also
could
should have been feathers on those damn lizards.
So what's interesting about these tiny footprints that they found in South Korea is there's actually no way to prove that they belong to a 35 to 100 gram dinosaur, because there's no way to discern completely that it was not an adolescent of a larger or a
That makes
juvenile or an adolescent of a larger dinosaur. So yeah, it's a crapshoot.
So I guess the question is, do paleontologists believe that? Obviously, they believe species in both weight classes existed at the time, or are they just assuming they should exist?
They do not believe that the weight class of 100 to 1,000 existed in a carnivore.
Oh, based on
during this 65
the
to
dominance of
201.
another. Okay.
Okay.
It's
But
what
the
about the-
smaller? I mean, the
Go
smaller
ahead.
the smaller carnivore or the
Yeah,
smaller.
they believe that the tiny weight class of, because it's not discriminatory between carnivorous and herbivore or omnivore. It's just nothing smaller than 250 grams has ever been found in a
But
skeleton.
it probably, based off of other knowledge, it probably existed, is what they're
Probably.
saying.
Yeah, they
Okay.
extrapolated out based on everything else.
Gotcha.
And this is based on
That's fascinating.
43 dino communities over 136 million year span. So these 43 dig sites around the world that they basically have a hot spot of deposits because of a sediment depositing event that buried a lot all at once. They have no record of 100 to 1,000 that are not just adolescents or juveniles of the larger class, and they have no tiny skeletons.
That is fascinating. That makes actually a lot of sense the more you think about it.
So teenagers.
The more you know. Yeah.
All right. I basically
Fucking-
regret saying this already.
I don't
Brandon,
want to click on this.
Nightmare Fuel.
Yeah.
When do you want us to click on the link, Brandon? That
I
you've been
will tell
alluding
you.
to.
Just wait. Just wait, because I'm gonna prep you a little bit first.
Oh shit.
So,
Son of a bitch.
do y'all remember a few weeks ago when I talked about Minecraft bringing chatbots to life with social media posts and other source material of people alive or dead?
Minecraft?
Company.
I remember
That is-
Microsoft. I don't remember Minecraft.
No.
I mean, Microsoft owns Minecraft, so
Oh, did I say
You
Minecraft?
said
did.
Minecraft, yeah.
Apparently have gaming on the mind.
Fair
Microsoft.
enough.
Yeah. Company MyHeritage has just licensed the AI Deep Nostalgia from DID to bring pictures to life.
Oh no.
To say the results are creepy would be putting it very mildly. Although not quite as animate and alive as the paintings or photos from the Harry Potter books and shows, you can see that this was probably the source of their idea and inspiration. Upload a photo to the service, and the person will move their head around, blink, and even smirk a bit. MyHeritage calls it a smile, but it's more of a coy smirk than a full smile. For our audio listeners, just check out hashtag Deep Nostalgia on Twitter for some nightmare fuel. For our video viewers, I'll have Cody add a clip in here. So go ahead and take a look at the first link.
So I'm gonna bogart you for a second. I was about that close from selecting Uncanny Valley as my topic tonight. And this is
Nice.
fucking close to Uncanny Valley. And
Yeah, that
I'm
is-
not
Oh, yeah.
going to explain anything more of it because that's my topic next week.
You better not choose that because I'm going to explain it next.
Fuck.
Sorry.
this is
Sorry.
Fine.
Okay. The AI
Wow.
is insanely good, but that comes with a problem. There's a term in robotics specific to androids, the uncanny valley. Basically, there's a certain amount of progress that can be made to make a synthetic form that looks better and better, but as you near that point at which an artificial being would be indistinguishable from a biological being, there's like this unsettling just plummet of what can only be described as a deep sense of wrongness.
or the character models in Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion.
Yes.
Or the main character from Final Fantasy, The Spirit Within.
Yes.
God, that's been a
Yep.
while.
Yep.
Yep. So yeah, wrongness describes a majority of the animations that I've seen made by this AI. It's so close to spot on, but there's something partway through the GIF that it makes that just kind of grips your guts and goes, nope, 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 no.
You know what it
no.
is?
I know it's
Like all the
two-dimensional
features.
on three-dimensional.
Well, it's that, but it's
Yep.
also the features themselves aren't moving in time with the face, like the actual head. So everything's like
Yep.
jiggling around a little bit.
Morphing
So,
and
Yeah, it's
shifting.
because it's a lot of two-dimensional
impressive.
images
It's
in a
super
video
impressive.
three-dimensional space. That's
Yeah.
I think that's the majority of the issues here.
that's just such.
Yeah.
It's such a weird thing that I mean, it's an AI that did it. I wonder if a human could do better
Yeah,
if they were
because it's-
able to. I'm
I
sure
mean,
they could
Probably.
if
But
they
I mean,
want
at
to.
that
I don't
point,
know.
like
but
that's, yeah.
Humans don't.
Well, it's just
also
interesting
how the
do this
AI
with their head too.
somehow does this like ghost
Perspective
apparition
change.
kind of thing. Yeah.
It's this weird, like
Yeah.
seductive.
The light isn't changing
not
either.
at all seductive thing.
I know the
Yeah.
light. The light isn't changing. That's part of it too.
And if you notice, like the light in the pupils does change as it shifts.
Oh, it does a little
Focus.
bit. The light.
But I think the thing that just makes it wrong for me is you can tell it's it's morphing the eyelids closed rather than there being an actual lid there that like I think that is that and the shadows under the nostril.
So this is the iRobot conundrum. Do you want something that looks damn close, like the ones that ultimately go insane? Sorry, spoilers alerts. Or do you want the previous generation that is extremely loyal but looks nothing like a human, other than being bipedal?
Yeah, it's the android versus robot debate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't. I'd probably want to destroy
So
this thing if I saw it in real life.
functionally, you got to do one of two things. You need to stay on the peak at the top of the uncanny valley and find that perfect sweet spot of what humans love, but is not just indiscernible between human and not. Or you need to jump the peak or jump the valley and be.
Got to
on the
make
other
that
side.
lizard brain happy. Need to calm
And-
that lizard brain,
Yeah.
danger brain.
You know, the android from Aliens. What was his name?
Bishop.
Bishop.
one from
I want to say
Aliens.
priest, but it wasn't. Yeah, Aliens. So,
Huh.
yeah, Bishop. I mean, indiscernible from human until you rip off his legs.
Well, I mean, yeah, Bishop was good. It was the other
Bishop's
one, the one from Alien.
Turns out the
that
actor was actually a
problematic.
human, guys. That's probably why you didn't get that
Shocking.
feeling.
Shocking.
What?
So
This
Really
is
good
new
actor.
information.
here's something interesting that, of course, the people of Reddit and Twitter have been doing is posting up stuff that isn't actually like pictures.
Oh,
Take a
God.
look at that second link.
I don't want to. You can't make me. You can't make me
Oh
click.
god,
That's interesting.
that's closer to the iRobot thing because that is not a real human. At least
I
the
don't
other
know.
one.
That actually doesn't
Yeah.
bug me. I find this one soothing.
Oh, that one bugs me even worse.
It doesn't bug me because it doesn't look human. It's not so indiscernible that it's not repulsive.
I mean, this one actually
Right.
looks like some sort of like nice character from an old movie, like The Labyrinth or something. That's what this one reminds me of. This one brings me back to my
It's
childhood.
fascinating that neither of them smile. Really, that's actually an interesting thing.
Yeah, well, that's going back to the thing of it's like a coy smirk rather
If
than
you
a
actually scroll
smile.
down to the Alexander the Great one, that one smiles, and that's a little weird.
Yeah.
So I guess that's the question: if an android smiled, because smiling is more than just showing your teeth. Smiling's your whole. If you're doing it right, it's your whole face. It's your eyes. It's your position. It's interesting.
You shouldn't be able to like cover a part of the face and not be able to determine whether the person is smiling or wants to kill you.
Like the captain from
So, how
How
did
I
you?
Met Your Mother.
What
Like the
did you
captain.
search to find this, Brandon?
Creepy.
So
Ed.
it's actually funny. I had a topic already set and ready to go, and I was just scrolling through the Google News feed like I normally do, and saw this and saw the first video, and I was just like, this feels wrong. This is wrong on so many levels. I have to do this now. So it was just on my Google News feed under technology.
I think what bothers me about the second one isn't so much, the Uncanny Valley thing isn't as pronounced.
Yeah.
But I think that if they put a full face and a full body, it probably wouldn't bother me as much. But somehow the
half
half
Okay.
face.
severed head, the severed
Okay.
face just hanging out there.
I want you to click on the link that I just posted. in
Oh
the window.
God. Oh
Under-
God.
the My Heritage
It's-
one.
Yep.
Let's see.
Oh no. This is no. I don't see it yet.
Oh, just
See,
you wait.
Oh, okay, I
That's-
see.
That's
Let's
the
see.
eye.
Let's-
Yeah.
Oh.
He's creepy.
Yeah,
He
but the
is.
actual
Oh.
man himself is already like that's a serial killer. If I've
Oh
ever
yeah,
seen
no,
one.
that's why
that
it's
is a serial
nightmare
killer,
fuel.
isn't it? Yeah. Jeez, Louise.
Adam Bunch? No, he's not a serial killer.
I don't think that was done with a
Was he a comedian?
daguerreotype.
Joseph
seems like a later technology.
Bloomby? I don't know who that is.
Adam Bunch is the
oh.
creator of the Toronto Dream Project. No, that's not the right guy. Sorry.
Yeah, now the picture says Joseph B.
There's one
Loonby?
below. Oh my gosh.
Uh,
Wow, yeah, he did a bunch. Some of them aren't as bad.
Yeah.
But the fact none of them smile in any like their bottom half, their eyes look semi realistic, but their mouth
I
doesn't
mean,
move.
there's cultures of people that don't really smile that much.
Right?
True.
But
Yeah.
they're still but they still move their face. They still have facial movements. That one isn't so bad, actually.
Okay.
Fascinating.
Ugh.
Yeah. Either way, weirdness. Yeah.
I thought he was
Need
going to show me
another
a
drink.
picture of a spider.
Hold
or
on.
something.
I need a My Heritage of Charlie Manson.
Oh God,
no.
please
Of course,
no.
he's got to go there. Like,
Oh, of
Yeah.
course. Come on.
this is like
Nope.
the.
We're getting back on the train,
No.
back down the tracks.
You made
You
me
can
look at
upload
this.
5 of your own
link it,
photos
we'll
for
come back to
free.
it.
Yeah. You can upload 5 of your own photos for free before then needing to pay for the service through MyHeritage. I have not tried this because I don't really want to.
Loading now.
Yeah, how would you want to be
Yeah.
one of those people?
No. So DID, which I mentioned earlier, is actually a company founded for the protection against mass surveillance. They have a video anonymization tool as well as an advanced facial blurring products, in addition to this new reenactment suite. The commercial / intro for this service actually uses a colorized version of Abe Lincoln to describe the service, which that's worth a watch as well. Yeah, try at your own risk, view at your own risk, unless we've already just poisoned you by showing you earlier in the episode.
Yeah.
You're welcome, Mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we're going to end up seeing more of these kind of projects in the future, likely with chatbots and deep faked voices. And one day we'll have paintings like those in Hogwarts, but rather than being magically brought to life, they'll be fueled by ones and zeros and the cold, expressionless soul of a computer.
Oh my gosh. I'm actually curious if any listeners or audio listeners or viewers of the YouTube video do this. You should definitely link it. We'd love to see your photos and be creeped out by them at the same
Like your
time.
reactions.
Doesn't have to be you. We promise. It could be any weird ass thing.
I wonder what would happen if you upload your dog's face to this.
This is the
Yeah, I
reason
don't
why
know
we
that
can't
would
have
be-
nice things, Cody.
Oh, that dog smiling is totally realistic. I don't feel anything for that.
God damn it.
Take a drink, boys.
Yeah.
Salud.
Oh God, that's so good. My throat.
Mine's fruity and delightful.
So is mine.
Mine is also fruity and delightful.
Mine is also gone.
I would have
Mine's
preferred some
almost
fruity
there.
and delightful.
I'll make you one. Just
Cool.
come up here.
Done.
Don't fall off the roof.
You could always do a Kirk.
Good.
Those were delicious.
Oh, so good. For anyone who wants to know, a Kirk is Kahlua, Bailey, or no, hold on.
Yes,
Bailey's Irish Cream.
Kahlua.
Yeah, there's a little bit of Kahlua in there, and then butterscotch schnapps.
Yep. It might be called something else somewhere else, but we
yeah.
called it we really wanted to
I
beam
think
me
somebody
up,
at one
Scotty.
point said it was a slippery milk. Yeah.
Yeah, we really wanted to beam me up, Scotty, but they didn't have whatever it was, like 99 bananas or something. So instead, we're like, "What do you have?" And they had that, and it turned out to be wonderful.
put it in a
That was
glass.
at
I'll drink it.
Palisades.
Yeah.
That was at Palisades at one of the Christmas parties,
Yep,
wasn't it?
yep. The old school
Oh.
internet Christmas parties.
Does Palisades still exist right now?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
It's still one of the only places. It's one of the few places right now that you can go in and get just like an appetizer and then drink with your friends here in town.
Solid.
But you have to order an
Yeah.
appetizer because they have to serve you food right now
I always like.
Yeah.
to be
I love the Palisades
to be
for that.
the restaurant.
In
Yeah.
good old Gunnison, Colorado.
Mhm.
It's
Memories.
interesting
All right, Brandon.
food selection.
All
Anyways,
right. Let's put this one in the bin and get on to better things next
plug.
next week. So I am Brandon Vader, also known as Dracanis. You can find me on the techpirate.net, YouTube, and at YouTube I'm the Tech Pirate. I also have a motorcycle video on just Brandon Vader that I need to do more with. I also need to do a lot more with the techpirate.net. But yeah, that's where you can find me. And right now in Valheim, doing lots and lots of Valheim, having dreams about Valheim. It's disturbing. Cody, where can we find you?
Also on Valheim. I am
You're
Cody
the runner
Stratton.
of the server.
Yep. The master of Valhalla, or whatever crazy realm we're in.
The 10th world.
Yeah. Anyway. I'm Cody Stratman. You can find me on YouTube at Striving to Fail. And Instagram, Zito Valder. I have posted some stuff.
Yeah, you
And
just
then-
did a major photo dump. I had all of the notifications.
Yeah. And then remembered why Instagram annoyed me. And then Colton and I had debate about that. So on that
4
segue,
clicks, Cody. 4 clicks. I'm just kidding. I assume that was to me.
That's why I
I'm
did
Colton
that.
Roper. Yeah, I still don't know that. I'm Colton Roper, also known as Seeker4761 on
that's
Twitch.
how many photos he has on Instagram. Check it out.
I have 8 photos. I just put up a new one about. So I have like 4,700 and shitload to go. So Seeker4761 or twitch.tv/Seeker4761. I stream every Tuesday around, 7 p.m. Arizona time if I'm feeling maybe 5 or 10 minutes either way. I'm also on Facebook Gaming and YouTube under the same handle, Seeker4761. I'm also a contributor to the techpirate.net. And Charlie, what about you?
I am Charlie Stifler, otherwise known as Milnor, spelled wrong, so I always get it right. You can find me on Steam, YouTube, Twitch. I'm on the Instagram as well, but it's all baby pictures because I have a 7-month-old now, and she's fucking cute. So that's all I need. And yeah, take us home.
Well, thank you all for joining us on this episode of This Week I'm Learning. You can find us all wherever you listen to podcasts, as well as on YouTube at This Week I'm Learning. For you social media peeps, you can find us out there on Twitter at This TWIL. If you'd like to contact us, of course, you can always send an email to twil@thetechpart.net. We'll see y'all next week.
Bye.
Charlie.
It was so close. Now get off your ass and
No.
we'll see you next week. Come on. Everyone's sitting down.
I almost read it just because it's not that bad, but I didn't want you to try and call me Ron Burgundy because I'm fucking not.
Maybe someday.
I can't. That is a style of humor I just don't enjoy.
Oh, I
God.
hate Will Ferrell. I really do. Don't get me wrong.
He's okay
No.
if he's a supporting character, like Old School. Old School, that was actually a decent movie because Will Ferrell was not the main attraction of that.
I like Will Ferrell in exactly one comedy bit ever, and that is Celebrity Jeopardy. That's it. That's the only thing that he's good in.
I don't know. I like Talladega Nights, but I'm a big NASCAR fan, so I thought that was.
Are you
hilarious.
actually a NASCAR fan?
I love racing in general. Like I grew up on NASCAR.
We're making a left-hand turn. They're making another
and
left-hand turn.
None of us could fucking do it.
Wait. What are they? Oh, they're making another left-hand turn.
At 200 miles an hour.
I
would love to try.
I want to drive one.
But I would rather any day do rally.
I think Formula One would be fun, even though they're super hard to drive.
Yeah, plus they look like fighter planes.
I would just assume,
that's cool.
yeah, I would just assume a flyer jet. Thank you. Beat your lane speed record. Why are you hating on NASCAR? Because it's left-hand turns.
It actually. So if you choose,
it's racing for people who like the movie Zoolander, because they can't make right-hand turns.
That's a good movie.
That's actually
a good movie. Why are you hating? Why are you hating on popular culture?
Okay, if you choose a car at the beginning, if you know nothing about NASCAR, nothing, and you have to choose a car that's in the last half of the pack, and that you're like, that's my car. I'm rooting for that dude or that chick in that car. And
let's be real, it's a dude. There was one chick, and now she doesn't race anymore.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway,
Danica Patrick.
You root for that car, and it becomes fun.
It's
not unless you're fucking
sport.
hammered. And even then.
Okay, but
no, that's baseball.
That's why what you do when you actually go to a NASCAR race is you get into the infield and you fucking tailgate. And you're just like, oh, look, there they go again. Hey, you got another Bratwurst, man? Yeah.
See, it's a social experience.
Yeah, it's more than just the event.
Is that why you moved to Tucson?
I would go
to Phoenix
a NASCAR event.
I would try it.
I would go to a NASCAR event if I could get an infield pass.
I think it'd be fun even in the
stands.
Yeah,
it'd be cool.
No, not in the stands.
Oh, yeah. Totally fun.
Infield or nothing.
Well, you don't want to sit in a hot-ass, metal, uncomfortable grate for 4 hours?
No, I didn't think I would
I don't do that to watch the Cattleman's Day stuff.
Yeah, but the Cattleman's Day was
getting
fun
paid
in the
to
booth.
be there.
Like, remember?
That's true. Yes. It is pretty fun to be right behind the chutes.
Yeah, I didn't think that would be fun, and it was fun.
It was really fun to be in the chutes until someone got stomped like 17 times. Then it wasn't fun to be in the chutes.
Yeah, so get a booth or something.
That's why you don't work. Because you're working, Charlie.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I'm just saying.
You don't have to save everyone. Just only save the non-assholes. Let the assholes die. It's okay.
There might be a
Cody,
hippo
this is
thing
why
about
you're not in healthcare.
There's a hippo, right?
Ping pong. Baby shark, doo 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 doo. Baby shark. Baby shark. Mommy shark, doo doo doo. Mommy shark, doo.